Hello, my name is Panos, and in this video I'm going to talk about the techniques that I used in the performance that I submitted for Ableton's Beat Tools competition. Before we start, let me show you the intro of the song. At the intro of the song, I have an instrument that uses two layers. The first layer is what I consider the hook of the song. It's a female vocal sample that caught my ear, which I used by loading it into a simpler device using the convert function. Here's the original pitch of the sample. At this point you'll notice that it doesn't sound quite right, so let's make it a 1-bar loop and change the wrapping mode to Complex Pro. What I still need to do is to cut off a small part from the beginning of the sample in order to make it sound a little bit more mechanical. Okay, now that we got this, let me lay down for you that main idea. The next step is to create a new audio track so I can resample what I just recorded. The reason that I do that is because I used that version for some creative editing, as well as with some other sounds from the Beat Tools pack in order to come down to the final loop that was used in the song. I'm going to keep that sample on the side for now and go build the second layer of my instrument. The second layer is made using the Drake bell sound. So let me play that intro again. Normally, when I perform, I want to avoid any unnecessary moves like changing octaves when changing tracks. For that reason, I will use the pitch device to transpose the instrument to the right octave without changing my hand's position in the higher or lower octave on the push pads. Before I go any further, let me make some tweaks on the sound. At this point, we're more than halfway there. The next step would be to incorporate the vocal sampling in the instrument. What I'm going to do now is to nest that device in an instrument rack by pressing Command and G. The reason that I'm doing that is because I want to accommodate the vocal sample in the same track as the instrument that I just made. So I'll just drag that sample on the change section of the instrument rack. Next, wrap it as a 4-bars loop and again change the wrapping mode to Complex Pro. Finally, let's set Simpler's playback to one-shot mode. At this point, the goal is that the sample will play back as soon as I hit the first note of my intro sequence. Notice what happens when I do that. It sounds horrible, and that's because it's out of tune. The sample is supposed to be played in its original pitch. What really happens is that the playback should be transposed 16 semitones higher. An easy way to find the right amount of transposition would be to tie the root note key of the instrument to the sample's original playback pitch. Then, from that point, there are 4 semitones between the C note and the lower G sharp, meaning that I should transpose it an extra 4 semitones higher. Now, by hitting the first note of my intro, the vocal sample is playing back simultaneously at the correct pitch so I can play along. One other problem that I had to tackle is that the vocal sample is playing back when I hit a new note. I want to restrict that playback on G sharp only, so when I hit the first note of the intro, I can prevent that sample from playing back again. Instrument racks have this key zone editor which can be accessed from here. By dragging the zones start and end on G sharp, I can limit my instrument to sound only when I hit that specific note. Now watch what happens when I hit another note. The vocal sample won't play back, which is exactly what I'm going for. Now that I've made some final touches, let's listen to what we've made so far. In that song, I used a variation of the same layering technique for the bass line and the beat. If you take a closer look at my performance, you'll notice that I'm going on the track that holds my drum rack. There I select the top left pad and I activate the first step on the step sequencer. That pad contains the bass loop. Now let's listen to that track. By doing that, I make sure that the bass will play back in time while giving me some flexibility to improvise under different circumstances. When performing live and making music on the fly, there are so many things that have to be done in a really small amount of time. The technical aspect in a music making environment like this can hinder creativity. So, planning beforehand, keeping a live set as simple as possible, and developing techniques that can give way to expression is of the utmost importance in my process. My name is Panos and I hope you found that video helpful. Let me know in the comment section. Thanks for watching.